Oh god. So my friends did not know that there was a story to this game. And to be fair, I hadn't paid that close of attention to it myself. I just knew that, a lot of oceans swelled up because of global warming, so everyone ended up having to get on rafts or drown, which seems like the majority of people ended up drowning from the looks of it, which that part sucks. So let me run you over to my raft, if I can remember where the hell it is. There it is, down there. Can I please get down? Whee! Oh, this is not safe. Well, cowabunga. Alright, I'll take you through a little bit of a walkthrough of my raft as I talk about some of the things I loved and did not enjoy in this game. So, yeah, I'm probably going to have to edit this way the hell down to get rid of the first 20-something minutes of me just jabbering on. And then we'll get back to me doing the other one in another episode where I can actually just talk about that. I talk about like my life while I'm building and concentrating and being kind of stupid. So, one of my first gripes about this game is just how much of a headache Boris is. Because Boris starts out as a genuine threat. So our raft now actually has some liveliness to it. We've got some nice decorations. I put some real effort into trying to make it feel like a home. Didn't get done with all the painting I wanted to because the game we were kind of limited on time because we all have different jobs and stuff that we do. So there were limitations on how much I could play. I didn't want to play without them. So what little decoration I did kind of on my own, but I didn't want to do too much of it. So the beginnings of the raft were very utilitarian. It was very much designed specifically for survival. So it was just single layer, and it was probably like a 10 by 10 initially is what we blossomed out to. Um, I rushed as many forges as I felt necessary, which I felt 5 was a pretty good number. I could probably have gotten away with less. I could have definitely done more. 5 felt like a good number because it let me just churn out what I needed within a pretty reasonable pace. Um, our first bottleneck we ran into was wood. Funnily enough, wood was the biggest frustration. And early on, wood is indeed that. It is a gigantic frustration. So, our crops that I had going, which ended up being all these tiny croplets you see right here, until we got this bad boy here, it was constantly a headache because I had to watch them like a hawk because, well, seagulls. We'll get to them in a second. Boris, on the other hand, where are you, Boris? I know you're down here somewhere. Or do they take Boris out now that I'm in endgame? Oh, there he is. Hi, Boris. Ow, that was mean. Boris was always just a pain in the butt. He just was. Every step of the game, he was a gigantic headache. And so, that 10 by 10 raft was a constant stress. We had to make sure we always had at least an extra layer on the outside, which, I mean, most people seem to do that when I've watched their playthroughs. It was pretty consistent. We were just kind of just following form. You have an outer layer for Boris to chomp on. Everything was fine. We didn't really lose anything important, I don't think. I don't think so. I think we were pretty good about making sure that Boris didn't get anything up from our stuff. So we never really had a problem with Boris stealing anything important. When we finally got access to the reinforced outer layer, you'll notice the raft is not square, or rectangular, whatever you want to call it. There's a mixture of reasons for that, but the simplest reason was I got lazy because I kind of just built out wherever I felt the need to, and then when I put the reinforced layer, I just said that's as far as it's going because I don't want to deal with Boris anymore. So I just reinforced the entire outer layer. It took a lot of resources that we didn't have at the time, but I pulled it off and I got a fully reinforced raft. And I realized I could just not reinforce the outer corners, and he couldn't get past it, so it was fine. Once we got the reinforcements on the stuff, game became super simple when it came to just design. Because at that point, Boris no longer is a danger, now he's just a food source. The only time he's a problem is when you want to go swimming, which is annoying, because, he's frustrating. So, you just kill him and leave him up. Just take all the flesh off him, but you don't take his helmet, take his head, and now you got, what, like 5 or 6 minutes to be able to go swim around with? Which, that was usually enough. These things, the Screechers, on the other hand, they suck. They just suck. Flat out. whatever person was in charge of making these, know that I genuinely dislike you. Because they were a pain in the butt. Just no. Just no. Just absolutely not. The hell with you. Die. Die in a fire. Those were kind of cool, actually. I have to admit, those were kind of cool. Got my, my catches right over here, so all that. Obviously we got poor Pumbaa. Pumbaa put up a good fight. Then we got Junior's bad day. We've got the rare bird, which, by the way, still sucks. Just to hell with you. So, we managed to beat the game in just a bit over 100 days. It's not that we were trying to speedrun it or not speedrun it. Probably could have done it in less, honestly. We just as I said, we were kind of pressed for time in the real world. Because one of our friends, Dexter, the Hungarian, lives on almost the opposite side of the world to us. We had to kind of just play whenever we could play. It wasn't something we could play whenever we wanted. So that 10 by 10, as it took shape, I started to try to focus on things that would be more aesthetically pleasing where possible. So I started building walls like you see here. Tried to actually give it kind of a nice appeal. I started painting things to try to give it some nice look to it. As time went on, I started building the giant, tree farm that Dexter, of course, chopped down because he's the Lord of Wood, and the problem is, as the Lord of Wood, he would never plant them. Because, thank you, Dexter. You were awesome. Let's see. Oh, I'm dying of thirst. That's what my canteen's for. So, the next job that Jester, our resident American, other than myself, decided to take on was being the navigator. So we made him a perch, and since Jester is also Jester the bird, we gave him different things like this, so this way he could be a bird. And also, the plank gods are watching, as I mentioned before, the plank gods. There's a bit of island madness that definitely happened here. So, furthermore, please the plank gods, as you can see, are plank gods. We have our general storage here. I had my private storage, which was over here, which was mostly meant for cooking, but there was some other stuff I'd also stashed over here. But, like, for instance, I have my fish that I kept in here, which the fact that you can keep fish forever is mildly concerning. Then, of course, I had my fuel storage back here, my fuel refinery, our giant biofuel. And yes, I know we probably didn't need all three of these. Probably not. But we built three because we built three of them, and so I just applied all three. If you didn't notice up top, Jester, our navigator. See, this is what happens. I still end up fucking their names, still, even now. Jester does have access to the advanced control system up here. However, we never got the advanced anchor. That's what I'm thinking. Here's our little zoo menagerie. Whoa! As I fall down. I swear I just saw one of the screechers. So we had one goat, one little birdie chicken thingy. Look at that! It actually gave me even extra eggs, and then 2 llamas, and that was our entire menagerie that got us to the end, which, honestly, I could have used more alpacas, but, it is what it is. Oh, crap. Man, that actually ran out. Let's see. Just for my own mental well-being, let me fix this. So that'll continue keeping them watered. Because basically, if I don't do this, and I know it's not taken care of, I'm going to lose my mind. So, even if I never play this save again, I still feel the necessity to. Actually, no, I could just pop that down, pop this back over here on the charger. Put these up in the spare battery storage. Okay, my mental health is now pure. Now pure. So what did we name our guys? So, he's named... The hell is it? Love Slave? Is that how I named it? Oh no. Oh no, I probably shouldn't show that. I forgot that's what we named him. You were named Carl! I think you were, what, Steve? Wait, no. What was it? Jojo, that's it. This guy's name is Steve. Are you Steve? Hold still. No, it's George. Oh, I feel bad. Your name is Love Slave? Oh god, it was. Oh no. I don't remember that name. Oh no. I forgot that we named you that. Oh no. So, yeah, like as I said, for the first half of the game, it was just fun. Lots of fun. When we start getting to the story islands, the first time I think any of us got frustrated with this game was when we got to the Arctic one, the snow one. That's when we stopped enjoying the game and it just started becoming frustrating. Even the birds, like even the flying birds, we joked about sending up an air defense, which... Damn it, I was hoping to get some chicken. Delicious chicken. That's totally what that is. So, oh my god, that Arctic one, once we got there. Because there were some puzzles and stuff, and my two friends both enjoyed, because I stayed on the raft almost the entire time. My goal was to just cook, whether it was over here, doing the drinks, which this whole thing was full of just amazing food and drinks that we went through on this island specifically, which I'll get to that. But the Arctic island was just hell. It was just hell. That was when we stopped enjoying it. And we ran into a bug where the only person who could see the lasers was me. So since I was typically never on an island, suddenly I had to leave my boat and go and play the actual game versus I enjoyed the crafting side of it. You know, the supply chain and the working on that and trying to ensure that I was producing enough food and water. Because, you know, initially all you had for food and water was just like a little tiny cooks. But then I upgraded those and we ended up with three of the, you know, the advanced filtration systems, and you know, I had a proper like, you know, wood grill that I was cooking with, and then when I got this, I started cooking other foods. We started having this giant supply issue. Not issue, but I was doing the supply chain, doing all this stuff, and I was just like so into it that suddenly all that screeched to a halt for me, and I had to step out of my comfort zone, which was fine. I'm fine with a game getting out of a comfort zone. It's just those puzzles were so frustratingly designed that all of us hated it. All of us. We played it in 2 sessions. The first session, they were actually able to see the lasers. There were no bugs for the most part. They were just pissing and moaning the entire time, which I didn't completely get because I didn't have to go do it. We came back to the second session. We found out that our friend kept spawning underneath the world rather than on the boat or in the water or anything. He just spawned underneath the ocean, like underneath the floor. He would just fall and die, and then he'd have to surrender. We'd have to rescue him. So while we were there, he was just bugged, which was not great. Anytime he died and we couldn't rescue him, he was screwed, and flat out just was screwed. So we tried reloading multiple times, which caused him to die multiple times, and he lost some mildly important stuff. So then, eventually, we were about to give up completely, because we were like, well, we can't complete this. I went in there on a whim to just see if there was any way that I could explore it, and I realized I could see the lasers. So then, by myself, I had to do all the puzzles from that point forward, which was not fun. It was very irritating. Very irritating. So after that, once we finished with that, we started heading over to Utopia, which is this last island here. And I realized that we had nowhere near enough supplies to fight whatever the hell was going to be here, because we had, I think we had 1 spear. So after we got here, I had to play by myself, because once again, my friends didn't have a ton of time. And I then struggled on an island, got all the materials I needed for us to fight, got us here. And that's when the game went from being kind of frustrating to just really dumb. Really dumb. Like, really, really dumb. Now, the initial puzzles on this island were actually kind of cool. So, there are a bunch of water-based puzzles, which, by really cool, I mean better than the laser puzzle? By a little bit. But they didn't function the way you would assume that they should. And that was where things got kind of annoying. but they were still doable. Like, the puzzles were still completable. So we completed them, got that through. You know, worked our way through that, fought the initial baddies, which were hyenas, which I don't actually have one of their trophies. Maybe I should add one up. Nah, we can just leave it as is. It's fine. So, as we worked through that first section and kind of started working our way through the puzzles, they obviously kind of just gave up with the puzzle thing and just turned it into more of a combat thing. Which the combat in this game was never great to begin with. It was just like Skyrim light at best. You know, weave in and out and stab and chop and whatnot. God. Excuse me. So, trying to be gentle here, because I want to say I really enjoyed this game. Our time with this game was incredible. I had so much fun with the majority of this game. It's just this last third of the game that was just so miserable. The repeated fights with the baddie on this island were just annoying. We had figured out pretty quickly what we were supposed to do. You know, just get up to his platform, done. Pretty easy stuff. It's just the other things involving the fights were incredibly stupid and very clunky. That was annoying. The final fight against his pet, that was unbelievably frustrating. It took us 3 tries, and a lot of it was the fact that we had just lost so much of our supplies from point A to point B, because there's just so many enemies and so many other different things. Excuse me. You notice my menagerie was not very large because I didn't think I would need a metric shit ton of eggs. Which is stupid, because eggs are your primary healing item. Because you have to make salve if you've never played this before. Which, where is the salve? There it is. The basic stuff just takes clay and eggs, and it takes 2 eggs. Well, your chicken person, turkey thing, lays an egg, you know, like every 10-15 minutes, as long as he's got something to eat. So, to be able to get a lot of these healing salves, which it takes a lot, honestly, it takes a lot of that. Clay, you can get a lot of clay early on. I mean, you can keep getting clay too, but a lot of times you're going to overlook it because you're not thinking of the fact that you're going to need a lot of clay. At one point, we had like 10 stacks of clay, and we went through all that clay for bowls. Where is how much clay do we have left? We had 8 clay at the end of this. I mean, we had so much stuff just stored up. Oh, my construction hat. I did actually have it. I thought I lost it. Oh, well. That was because I was the construction person. My person was supposed to just be... Where it is. There we go. Yeah, my person was supposed to be the construction person, so... Oh well. It is what it is. So... Oh god, this game is just so frustrating but so good. But so frustrating. So frustrating! Oh my god. So... Yeah, once we got to that final boss, and it took us 3 tries. The last try we went in there for, I used the remainder of what little bit of metal I had left to make a couple more weapons, and basically said, if we fail this, we're done. We're just going to quit, because I don't have it in me to go out and farm even more materials for weapons to fight this final boss, because it's just so mind-numbingly stupid. Because the boss fight itself isn't that bad. It honestly isn't. He's got a lot of health, the monster, and he's got some interesting attacks. It's pretty simple stuff. He just lunges, throws stuff at you. He becomes invulnerable for short periods of time. That's not the problem. It's the fact that the weapons break so easily, and I brought what I thought was a reasonable amount of equipment to this island, thinking that there would be some combat, because the game was not super combat heavy before this. About the scariest stuff you could fight was the birds before this. Everything else, a wooden spear would carry you through an entire island for the most part. Like, you might need 2 if you were fighting a bunch of stuff, especially with a few people along. You know, usually the 3 of you would be able to just chunk anything down that you had to fight, with the exception of like the mama bear. Like, that was another thing entirely. But beyond mama bear, there was not much that was that difficult to kill well, as long as you were thinking, like, properly thinking. This island, however, had so much crap on it, you know, the legions of hyenas, that it was just mind-numbingly frustrating, which is probably why a lot of streamers don't end up completing this game, because it's not necessarily that it's hard, it's just mind-numbingly frustrating, and it all boils down to just weapon durability. It's a thing that in video games I don't like, especially when it's done like this. This felt almost like Breath of the Wild level with some of the weapons, where they would break so insanely fast. Because I don't think your weapons would break that fast in reality. Like a proper spear should last you quite a while. I mean, you might need to replace her from time to time because the wood might break, or, you know, the tip might get ripped off or what have you, but sure. But you should be able to repair your equipment, not have to wholeheartedly just replace it. And the durability on some of this stuff was just so low. So low, which is one of the reasons why this game is just so annoyingly frustrating to play. So, when we finally managed to kill it that third time, that was both a really good feeling and also real frustrating. Because the first time, we didn't realize we were going into a boss fight. Two of us entered the room fairly quickly. Only one of us had a weapon left because we had broken. Because I think I had broken my weapon, something like that. And Jester, the American, was kind of forced to fight almost entirely on his own. Then Dexter dropped in and he fought, and then we got murdered. And then we went in a second time, and basically we almost got it down and just didn't realize that. We just didn't understand that he would go invulnerable for periods of time. So we were wasting a lot of like arrows and stuff. And you know, whenever all three of you die, you have to release. And when you release, you lose 2/3 of your items, which is also once again very frustrating because it can essentially put your progress back drastically. So, the third time we went in and we fought it, and it almost immediately died. And that was like this is the do or die, guys. And we go in there and he just dies instantly. Because he was so close to death the second time around. Which actually made us very irritated. Because it wasn't even like a yeah, we took it down. It was more like a really? We were that close and we got screwed? Fuck this game. Kind of thing. But it was still like okay, well at least let's check out the ending and just see what the ending's like. And the ending was kind of cool. I mean, for where you are to where you get, it's an alright ending. Like you can just see here, I've been chilling this whole time and I got a single. Oh wait, no, he just laid a second egg. So this should tell you how fast you get eggs when you only have one chicken, or once again, chicken, turkey, whatever the hell he is. So it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating how good and bad this game is all at once. Because this game could be so much better, but I also understand that it's a video game and they have to find some way to keep you constantly working. Otherwise, you know, you might get complacent, you might get bored. Because if you're not constantly having to work at stuff like, you know, your production lines, or, you know, if you have all the supplies you need for tools, and you never have to really replace your tools, then obviously what are you going to do with all this excess resources? But then again, this is also a crafting game. Like, okay, think kind of like Minecraft. In Minecraft, when you're using, say, a pickaxe, you don't just use a pickaxe and go through, like, 15 blocks and suddenly your pickaxe is broken. Or if you're using, like, say, a regular axe and you're chopping down trees. You don't just chop down, like, say, 10 trees and your axe breaks. Especially not a metal axe. Maybe the wooden one, maybe. But the metal axes definitely don't. Even the stone axe doesn't. Stone axe lasts you a long time. This game kind of feels like it looked at that concept and went, yeah, fuck that, and just threw it right out the window. Out the window it goes. And so I want to suggest this game to people. I do. But at the same time, I kind of don't. Because it is so irritating. From a crafting perspective, if you don't care about the story, and you want to just be able to build an amazing raft and populate it with all different kinds of cool stuff, different trinkets and different cosmetics as you progress throughout the world, creating this self-sustaining city floating on the ocean, this game is incredible for that. especially once you get a fully reinforced bottom floor. Then you can make whatever you can never even imagine. Like, you can make amazing mega buildings if you want, which is amazing. I like that. That is incredibly cool to me. I'm at a point now where if I don't want to, other than scrap metal, for the most part, I never have to get on my boat from this point forward. I could create, essentially, a fully self-sustaining ship here, which is awesome. Like, if I wanted to get metals, I'd have to get off the boat, which, you know, it's neither here nor there. But it would be for very, very tiny amounts of time. Just get off the boat for a very short period of time to go get the materials I need. One island, one big one, would probably cover me for 10, 15 hours of sailing on the high seas and blossoming my boat even more as I continue to build more and more decks and layers and add more and more beauty to it. You know, build a couple more paint things if I feel like it, and keep expanding my painting options on here and grow entire crops of nothing but just, you know, tons and tons and tons of stuff. Like, there's all these things you can do that really make this game cool. But the moment that you get off the boat and reality hits that you have to play the game the way that they want you to complete the story, that kind of stops being fun. It kind of becomes annoying and frustrating and difficult and kind of makes you hate it. So that's how I feel about this. So, do I suggest it? Yeah, I suggest it. It's a good game. It's worth playing. It's a difficult one. I have a really hard time suggesting it, though, because there are so many things about this game that are so annoying and frustrating. But if you got friends, and at least one of you is creative in some way, this game is incredible. This game is a really good game for that kind of environment. You have one person who's really creative, who likes to build stuff, you know, whether it's with Legos or whatever. Then they'll have a great fun time building the raft. You have another person who really enjoys, like, fighting or, you know, like, exploring. They're going to have some great fun on the islands. Then you have people who are into crafting, whether it's, you know, supply chains or that kind of thing. They're also going to have fun, because there's a lot of crafting to be done in this game, because everything you see here had to be crafted. So then there's a lot to do. It's just the story parts. Those are the parts the game kind of falls apart. And those are the parts that I really wish weren't required for you to continue to expand what you can do in the game. Because those are the parts of the game I genuinely disliked. And there you have it. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. I will definitely put out more of these videos, mostly just talking about stuff, whether it's something going on in my life, something that's going on in the world, video games in general, while I build stuff or explore different games, that kind of thing. So thank you very much for watching. Take care. Don't forget to tip your waitress. And of course, stay classy.